Climb into your heart on twisted.
Cowboys swings, makes right one, deep left center field. Mullins looks up, and it's out of here.
Good morning, Mets family, and welcome back to Good Morning Mets. I'm your host, Rasheed McDonald, and today is April 7th, 2025, and tonight the New York Mets will be taking on the Miami Marlins, and it'll be Kodai Senga against an opener for the Miami Marlins. We'll find out who that is a little bit closer to game time, but before we get into this weekend and opening weekend and the festivities and everything that took place on the field, you already know the deal. Let's get to the highlights. Mets trying to complete the sweep of the Toronto Blue Jays. We'll pick this up bottom third. Hayden Singer draws a walk. Juan Soto draws a walk. And Pete Alonso will drive in the run to get it started for the Mets. Later on in the inning, Brandon Nimmo, he's going to drive in Juan Soto with the sacrifice fly. Picking it up top fifth, Vlad Jr. draws a walk with a runner on third and 2 out. Next batter, Anthony Santander will draw a walk. Then next batter, Andres Jimenez with the bases loaded would get hit by the pitch. David Peterson's day would be over. Did not look good. Body language didn't look good, but turns out he just was feeling nauseous. Mets bring in Max Kranick, and Max will get the Mets out of the inning. No more damage done. 2-1 game. Top of the ninth, you already know the vibes. Trumpets, Edwin Diaz. Mets bullpen has been solid. He'll hit the first batter. No problem. Next batter, see you later. Following that at bat, Lukes will fly out to Brandon Nimmo. And then Bo Bichette with the chance to get out of there. You get hit in the ribs. That one looks like it hurts. Take another look in the ribs. Ay, ay, ay. Vlad Jr. with a chance to give the Blue Jays the lead. And first pitch swinging will get the out. Mets will win the ball game 2-1. Tonight, Kodai Senga will be taking on an opener for the Miami Marlins. We'll find out who that is again a little bit closer to game time. But I'm looking for the Mets to have a solid series, another solid series. They took the series in Miami. They swept the Toronto Blue Jays, and now they're on a 5-game win streak. And when you think about that, a 4-game win streak, I believe. When you think about that, you have to think about the way they've gotten it done, right? The bottom of the order just has not hit at all, right? Except for the catchers. Hayden Singer and Luis Torrens have been fine. They've been doing their job. Hayden Singer drew a couple walks, scored a couple runs. Luis Torrens, he went and got the base hit Saturday night that allowed Francisco Lindor to get the game-winning hit. So the rest of the bottom of that order, you got the platoon at second base that just hasn't had its moment yet. You have Mark Vientos, who let his defense kind of get into his head, and now it's affecting his offense a little bit more than usual. And a lot of people are pointing to some sophomore jinx or some sophomore issues, but I truly think that Mark Vientos is going to get it right. He is a young kid who, yes, does play with his emotions on his sleeve, right? But he is a strong-willed kid, right? I mean, this is someone who thought was getting the job out of spring training last season and lost that job and had to get sent down to the AAA to start last season. And he didn't, put his head down. He went to work. And, so my message to Mark Vientos, if any, is, don't put your head down, pick your head up, and go to work, kid, because you know what you're capable of. You know the talent you have. And I'm pretty sure everyone in that locker room is reminding him of that. And I think he needs to remember as well. Like, think of, you know, JD Martinez's message last year, where it's like, listen, if you're gonna fail, fail, right? If you're gonna fail, fail the best way you know how, right? And it's to play your best, because you cannot stop the inevitable. But what you can do is play your game. So I think Mark Vientos will get it right, whether it's this series, whether it's, in the series to come. I think Mark Vientos will get it right. Uh, Center field. Don't know what's going on with Tyrone Taylor. I don't know if he's hurt. He hasn't showed up for any pinch hits appearances, especially specifically on Saturday. Uh, he wasn't there. I thought in the spot where they put Marte, that maybe they would have put Tyrone Taylor in, or maybe he did show up for a pinch hit appearance, but he hasn't really gotten any consistent playing time. It's been Jose Siri ever since the last game of the Houston series. So we'll see what happens going forward. But Jose Siri has had some good at bats over the last two games. Saturday night he had a good at bat that got him on base, and so I think he just needs to just focus, stick to what he can, be a sponge, learn from a lot of the people that are around you. And I think we'll get the best out of Jose Siri to come. But he's the best option defensively in center field. So I think that's the reason why the Mets are going with him more than they're going with Tyrod Taylor. But we'll see what that looks like going forward as well. The platoon at second base just hasn't been it, right? And it's not too much of the detriment of Luis Acuna Jr., Luis Angel Acuna. It's not, but he isn't getting on base either. And Brett Beatty isn't helping his cause as well, and it's one of the things that I would like to, ask him or ask the manager, like, what is he seeing differently, and how can they formulate a game plan to approach the regular season differently to get similar results that they get in AAA or in spring training? Because it can't fathom the idea that he has so much success in AAA and in spring training, but he just can't hit at the major league level. Now, we've seen a bunch of examples of that, but it's just wild to me because, the kid is a good kid, right? And I think, if we unlock his potential, he could be a huge asset, but this kind of answers the question. When Jeff McNeil is ready to come back, he's going to get the reps at second base, because guess what? It's experience. It's a veteran. It's someone who's won a batting title, and it's someone that can hit. And if Acuna's not hitting, and if Beatty's not hitting, none of them has run away with this position. None of them has made it a tough decision for the manager to make once Jeff McNeil comes back. So, unfortunately, it's Jeff McNeil. And that's his position for now. And we'll see what the Mets do going forward, but it's going to be something that we have to trust the instincts of Carlos Mendoza. We have to trust the instincts of the front office, because they have that elite ability to evaluate and adjust in season. So we'll give them that benefit of the doubt, and we'll see what they can do going forward as the Mets season continues. The rest of the guys, they've been okay. They've been fine, right? The 1 through 4 guys, Brandon Nimmo has been involved in a lot. Pete Alonso has had the most success. Francisco Lindor has been getting on base a lot more. He's gotten on base to lead off the game in all 3 games this weekend. So that's a positive sign. And then Juan Soto, right? It goes back to a couple years ago. Gary Cohen was mentioning it back in 2022 when the Mets faced the Nationals, and Juan Soto didn't have his best at-bats like he usually does against the Mets. And so he made reference to that this weekend and saying that Juan Soto kind of looks like someone who's just trying to figure out his spot and his place in this Mets lineup and how it just works and the dynamic. But you can't argue. He's had a 9 game on base streak. And that's the first time in his career that he started the first 9 games of the season getting on base every single game that he's played so far. So for all the talk and all the, conversation about him not hitting, you know, as we expect him to, he's performed, right? He's got on base, he's done his job, he's did his thing, he even stole a base this weekend. So Juan Soto is going to be absolutely 100% fine. If anybody, has questions or is wondering if he's going to be fine. So I think right now the focus is to just have him continuing to just build momentum till we get to that point. I mean, he had that home run in Houston, and I think there's still a lot more that we have yet to see from Juan Soto. But when we get there, it's going to be an explosion of just offense and just the experience of Juan Soto. But we're experiencing some of that now. I mean, his at bats are like a work of art. A thing that you can hang at a museum and just watch. And that's Juan Soto and his at bats and the way he just does it. So, as far as the lineup, their functioning is not as good as it should be. Quite frankly, it's